All right, good morning, everybody. We're going ahead and start, and I'm recording. Again, you'll have access to this recording after this is over. Later today, I'll send the email with the YouTube link so you can watch this and go through it. We're going to start by going over the outline and spending a few minutes here, 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll jump up. I'll jump up. Hopefully you'll jump up with me, and we'll do our practice, and I'll explain a little bit what we're doing as we go through. And then when we're done with that, we'll come back, have a quick little tea. We'll take questions and answers. Then I'll go through and I'll show you guys some of the things that I recommend for boosting or regulating or fortifying the immune system. And excited for that. For some of you guys that don't know me, that just know me from Facebook, I've been in the health industry since I'm 18 years old. I'm 48 now. I started working at a health food store. I literally have done every single aspect of the industry. I've went to countless trainings. I've trained with some of the smartest people in the industry over the years. Uda Erasmus, Dr. Matthias Rath. I've trained with a PhD in Chinese medicine for 6 years, learning how to formulate and identify Chinese herbs. I worked 6 years with a Western eclectic master herbalist and learned how to identify over 500 different types of herbs. And I've just been from, being a worker to managing to co-owning to owning my own wellness center. A little bit about my background. This whole time I also trained under one Grand Master Dashi Stephen Baugh for over 20 years. And we trained 3-4 times a week initially, and we trained all the way up until last year, at least once a week or so, or every other week. And my learning never stopped with him. I'm extremely grateful and thankful for all that I've learned. I'm very fortunate to have some great people in my life here helping me today. And, we're all doing the best we can, and we're going to stay strong, and we're going to keep focusing on wellness and health. So here we go. What is Qigong? First of all, Qigong is the most beautiful art in the world. I wish we can rename it to the Qigong beauty of the body and really know that Qigong is the system of the human body that we all need to learn. It's what we should be teaching kids in school as they go through so they can really understand and learn about their body. It's the art of developing internal health and radiant health, I would say. Some people use it as a path for spirituality. Some people can use it for stress. There's so many different ways to understand Qigong. We're going to break that down a little bit today. It uses visualizations, affirmations, body movement, stretches, sounds. And excuse me if I pause because I still got people jumping on there a little bit. To make the body, mind, and spirit complete. It's a combination of two ideas. Qi, there's 18 classifications of Qi in Medical Chi-Gong, but when we hear Qi, most of the time we just think of energy. Energy, our breath in this case. And Gong is like an acquired skill that you acquire or you put in effort and work. So when you combine those two together, Qi-Gong, then you're talking about the skill, the art, the work of understanding breath and energy within the human body and also in nature and in the cosmos. So they all three tie together. I'm going to explain that as time goes on a little bit in this first little opening lecture here. Qigong has been around for a long time. It's 2500 BC, the Yellow Emperor was practicing Qigong. And some people say even much older than that, the Wu, the shaman, practiced, it was different terms back then, Xing Qi or Dao Yin. And these were like the Wu, the shamans that practice mimicking animals and making sounds. And they, this was like an oral tradition. And so it's been around even much longer than that. There's 3 styles in Qigong. Some people would say 4 styles. So there's medical, there's martial, there's spiritual, and some people will say there's scholar. Each one of these styles has a classification of a way that you should practice them. So in the medical, it's very important to understand purge, tonify, and regulate. You have to purge before you tonify, and then you regulate following that. In the martial systems, you learn how to train the body, the tendons and ligaments, and more like dynamic Qigong, and that has the obvious, hidden, and mysterious. And in the spiritual Qigong, you have the gathering, housing, and utilization of the energy. And the spiritual and the scholar are the same thing. It's just like some people will feel like they're doing it more for radiant health, and they're not necessarily trying to become enlightened. So that would be the difference. But today's focus is on the medical Qigong. So we're going to talk a little bit about purge, tonify, and regulate as we start. Now, in all Qigong, you always have to have three things, and they need to be in this order: posture, breath, and intention. You can't have the right posture if you don't have the right, you can't have the right breath if you don't have the right posture. So your posture is your fundamental practice of your Qigong. And then when you have the right breath, then you can have the right intention, or the intention is the visualization, or it's the practice that you're working on. So this is very important to understand that in all Qigong, it's always posture, breath, and intention. And we get up to practice in a few minutes here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over the 18 rules of posture. This is such a fundamental practice because if you're standing for long periods of time or you're practicing everything, I always say this is like a teacher in your back pocket. You can always follow these rules and you can always do some self-correcting. Now, you still need a teacher to come in and adjust you, but at the beginning, or as you start to go through, then you can always fall back on these 18 rules of posture. And I see a lot of people training out there, and I wish they would have this kind of foundation, because Jerry Allen Johnson says that standing meditation is more powerful than sitting meditation, but people just don't stand right. They just don't have the right posture. And then where the tongue positions go, there's 5 tongue positions that move through the body. And the one that we're going to focus on today is the one that points towards the nose, which we call the fire position. Okay, and it has some specific aspects that it does. Now, this is going to be a general outline. And if you're looking for more depth, then we have some courses starting in June that will be online: the Medical Qigong Therapist and the Qigong Adept and the Qigong Scholar. These courses, of course, will take you deep into understanding what we're going to cover today. So one of the first things that we always talk about is the opening and closing of a class, how important this is. And I wanted to talk about this because we're all in our different places. People are still getting in. We're all in our different homes or wherever we're at. And saluting in, my teacher, Dashi. So if you hear me say Dashi, Grandmaster Dashi, Dashi is kind of like an abbot, or he was the abbot of our temple. He was abbot of the Buddhist 5 Shrine Temple. He was an ordained Buddhist priest, Taoist priest. We went through, a 10-year training with him in Buddhism and Taoism. Besides, we went through another 5 or so years of spiritual warrior training, esoteric topics, and those would be like 4 hours long sometimes, all the way until 12 o'clock at night. So when I refer to Dashi, I'm talking about Grandmaster Ba. So Grandmaster Ba said, would you eat differently if Buddha or Jesus was sitting down at your table? Of course you would. So the idea of saluting in and paying respects and calling the masters, calling the ancestors, calling your teachers, your mentors into your practice is the idea that you will train like they're there watching you all the time. This is a very important concept. So would you eat differently if those, great people were sitting down at your table? Of course you would. Your table manners would be better. So by inviting and calling forth the masters, you always will train like they're present. So this is the saluting in and saluting out that we're going to do. Okay, so in our tradition, we have a salute in. It's called our Lineage Salute, and it looks like this. And the idea is that this left hand makes a candle base in front of the heart, and the right hand slides around and slides the wick into the candle, and then the purpose of the candle is to spread its light. And as we connect and we talk to each other, then that's what we'll do. So we're going to salute in, paying respects to each other, teachers of the past. I always like to take a moment for that. Teachers of the past, teachers of the present, and teachers of the future, you guys, and our places of practice. And in that way, then we're going to go through the 3 Chi awakening exercises. This is fundamental practice to take the thoughts out of the head, to root into the earth, to draw strength, and then to unify the inspiration and motivation from the heavens and the energy from the earth into our body so we can reach out and we can touch mankind. And then we'll go ahead and begin. We'll get into our 18 rules of posture. We'll do the longevity set. And I'm going to teach you guys a beautiful, beautiful version of the Bois d'Argent, which is called the Royal Jacket version. And what this is that after each exercise, we're going to put on these silken, beautiful cloths to cover our body. And so when we're done, we're going to feel like we're wearing this protective jacket that will protect us from outside influences, the 6 pernicious fluorescents, and also people's emotions like worry and fear and anxiety and sadness, okay, and anger and frustration. So we're going to create like this protective jacket. And it's also, as we wear this jacket and we go out in our lives, this jacket radiates over into other people too. And so it helps other people. So the saying is still true. Even right now, the saying is still true that in order to help the world, you have to work on yourself. Okay, and after we do that aspect, after we do the Bois d'Argent, we'll just take a quick moment and kind of feel that and take a moment of silence. And then we're going to do Golden Ball. It's the 8 manifestations of energy. If you learn this one really good, then the idea is that you learn to become a great creator. You learn how to change the energy in your world. The energy is constantly changing. And you learn how to become a great creator. And then the last part is the Chen village closing. We would learn to seal the energy back into the safe space, back into the lower dantian, the abdominal area for you guys. And I'm going to try to stick to regular terms as much as I can. But dantian in the lower dantian or the lower abdominal area means like elixir field. And it's really want to like put the energy at the end. It also helps us remember our practice. So we're going to seal that up, and then we'll step in, and then we'll salute out, and then we'll take some time for questions and answers. And paying respects to each other, teachers of the past, present, and future, and our places of practice. You're going to step out with the right foot. And we're going to start with the 3 Chi awakening exercises. You're going to reach into the earth, reach up, gather, cover the whole body, and down. Reaching up and down through the whole body. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more, reaching up, gathering the cloud, descended down into the lower dantian, rooting down into the earth. Inhale up, gathering strength from the earth. Nice, full, deep breath. Inhale. Deeper and fuller. Inhale. And then unify heaven and earth, pull it up, bring it down to the heart, and from the heart, open in all directions. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now feel like you're clearing out the space. Clear your mind. Push the external world out. And the last one, forming the golden shield around the whole body. Very important to feel like you're practicing in this golden shield. And relax. Okay, shake that out. Now we're gonna, normally we don't spend time doing this, but I wanted to give a lot of people out there a real solid foundation of Qigong. It's called the 18 rules of posture, or it used to be referenced as the 18 Dao Yins. So you wanna make sure your feet are nice and straight. Feet are straight. Knees are slightly bent. Make sure your knees are not in and not too far out, so the knees are slightly bent. The hips are relaxed, so just gently relax the hips. You want to feel like you round the perineum, so you're going to kind of tuck the hips underneath and around the perineum. Gently going to close the anal sphincter and the vaginal gate. You're going to feel like your stomach is going to feel like a ball, and it's just going to kind of sink and settle back. And as it does, it's going to open the lower L2 and L3. It's going to just gently open the lower back here. So the stomach gently pulls in and sinks. The waist is relaxed. The chest is slightly tucked and the back is extended. And now it's the idea of finding the play between the two, the tucking and the stretching. And when you come right in the middle, it's like a coat on a coat hanger. 10, relax the shoulders. Heavy the elbows. Hollow the armpits. Relax the wrist and the fingers and straighten the hands. You can stand this way or you can stand this way. Okay, and then you're going to feel like there's a bad translation out there saying pull up on the string. That doesn't work unless you pull a string from the bottom. So you want to feel like you're under a low ceiling and you press up. And as you press up the ceiling, number 60, you tuck the chin. As you tuck the chin, this takes the top of your head and makes it up. So as you tuck the hips and tuck the chin, now your body is in a straight alignment. Okay, close the mouth, slightly close the eyes for inner vision. So the idea is that you don't want your eyes all the way open and you don't want your eyes closed. You want to kind of be in between, looking out towards the horizon. Okay, then you want to flare the nostrils open like you're trying to extract the chi out of the atmosphere. And you want to stop the ears, stop listening to the future and stop listening to the past. Okay, and then number 18 is placing the tongue pointing towards the nose in what we call the fire position. Okay, so these are our 18 rules of posture. And the idea is that we're always going to fall back to these and make sure we have these all the time. Okay? Okay, so from here, we're going to go through the longevity set. Okay, so we're just going to go through stretching the fingers and the wrist. Reverse. Elbows inside. Now feel like you're adding a layer and not turning one on and turning the other off. And reverse, fingers, wrist, and elbows. Large circles, shoulders, reaching out, crossing up. Fingers, wrist, elbows, shoulders to the top and open. Reverse. And rolling the shoulders back and down. Rolling each one. And lifting. And feel like you're swimming through the universe. And shake it out. Circle the head, lifting up. Like you're getting taller. Try not to grind the vertebrae, but instead extend the neck and the spine, lifting. Okay, reverse. And stretching the eyes, fingers, and toes, opening up. And smiling in through the internal organs, beautiful friends. And rolling up towards the right, squeeze and look up. Rolling up towards the left. And spiraling down towards the right, squeeze, open up, and down to the left. And up from the Earth Star, through the spine, through the mind, gather the divine, and smile the sunshine down through the spine. Hopefully you like that little rhyme. And down, down through the body, opening each of the 24 movable vertebrae. And then dropping the vibration into the sacrum, the sacred bone, the master bone. It's like it's vibrating and laughing down to the toes. Hee hee hee, ha ha ha. Lifting that up through the spine to the center of the brain, shooting off the top of your head on 3, 2, 1, and then squeeze the organs. You're giving a little hug to each organ system. Good job. Coming up, good job. Good job. Thank you, thank you. Then they all get together in a big group hug. And change sides, group hug. Okay, then you're going to tap the lung number 1 up here in the top, and you're going to tap the kidneys, pop the lungs, tap the kidneys, same time. This is such a good exercise. Just by itself, this one, you can do it. There's a lot of different ways to do this one, turning, staying still. Okay, wake up the yin, Chao, Ming, Min points, front and back. These are access gates to the Dan 10. Deep breath, 10. And reach up as far as you can. And reach out and smiling and stretching down. Over to the right side. Over to the left side. Back to the center. Smiling, bend the knees, clasp the fingers, rippling up, and reaching up, and big full circle, starting to the right side. And turn, left side. And push off the top of your head and open the big toric umbrella, covers the whole body. Underneath, rolls up, and you're going to open the mudra. So thumb and index finger roll back. Change, middle and thumb. Change, ring finger and thumb. And change, pinky and thumb. And I always say, try to make the movement with your toes too. And reaching out to the side. And then bending to the side. You make the different mudras, bending. Okay, and turning the yaw, the waist, turning the waist, leaning back. And reverse. And coming up, and let the hands turn over. Now, Grandmaster Ball said that warming up like this calisthenic, what was missing from Qigong. Too many people going right into Qigong practice, and so you have to open the body. Okay, and then reverse. Just going to do the basic one. You got to open the joints and the tendons and ligaments so the chi can then flow, the energy can flow easier through your body. Okay, and then feet together. We're going to gather some chi. Mr. Miyagi style, push it into the knees. And I like just to go up and down with little circles. I don't really recommend the big circles. If you do that, that's fine, but I like to just go up and down and then change directions in your massage. Stepping out with the feeling of pulling up the yin channels and pushing down the yang channels all around, and then clearing out the knees. Good. Big step back, flatten the toes, side to side, and then pumping blood down, starting with the big toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Circle the toes, fingers, wrists, ankles, elbows to the knees, hips to the shoulders. Exhale down. And shift. Good. Side to side. Pumping blood down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Circle toes, fingers, wrists, ankles, elbows to the knees, hips to the shoulders. Exhale down. And shake it out. Okay, so now you can see I'm a little winded just because I'm talking and trying to do it for you guys, but you can see now my body's ready to move the energy in my body. This is very important. So I'm kind of breaking it down a little differently that we do in class. Okay, so next we're going to start with the Hua Da Jin Royal Jacket version. Now there's a lot of different versions that I teach of this. I teach the standard, the 5 element, the silk weavers, the Shaolin silk weavers, and the Royal Jacket version, again, is the idea that after each one of the elements, we're going to put on a silken brocaded, like, royal jacket. So whether you're an emperor or an empress, the idea is that you're going to put on these beautiful cloths, and they're brocaded, they're stitched with these affirmations, these symbols of health. And I'm going to give you what those are: the integrity and courage and the inner peace and the self-knowledge and confidence. So as we go through each organ, then I'll give you what those pieces are. And at the end, we'll be wearing our jacket. Okay? So just take a deep breath. Get back into your 18 rules of posture. Okay, the first one, and I'm going to break down the riddles too, because there's a lot of confusion understanding the riddles. Okay, so the first one is prop the heavens to regulate functions of the triple warmers. Okay, associated with your ring finger. The triple warmers, in a summary, is an energy system that flows through your body, but you want to look at it like the space in between the spaces. So in this one, when we lift the organs and the organs are up and your hands are coming down, try to keep the organs up. So the idea is that the organs are always sitting up. Okay, so we're going to take a deep breath, reach underneath your feet, inhaling up. Lift. Exhale through the nose, the first one. Let any tension or stress melt it down into the earth. Good. Inhale. Out through the mouth. Try to use the whole body, slightly bending the knees, inhaling up. Now using the healing sound, the he sound. Lift, turn organs up. Down to the body. Inhaling. Feel like your fingers are attaching to your organs like a puppeteer. So when you lift them up, you don't have to go like this. You just want to be here, but now I'm connected to my organs like a puppeteer. And as you exhale, you're going to hold them up. Take another breath. Use the he sound. Okay, next level, inhale. And you lift the organs up. Now the organs are up, you're going to lift the ring finger up. If you look up on this one, it looks like a deer horn or a deer posture or a dragon horns. Okay, another deep breath. Put it all together for 2 reps. Inhale up. Very nice. Already can feel the change. So calming the breath, a little longer on the exhale. The sound descends down on that one, so it's he. And make sure I push the sound all the way down. I want to reach deep into the earth. I want to reach up, and I want to cover my body in this big sound shield. Okay, so one last time. Inhale. Supporting heaven's work. And back to the Wuji posture. Good. From here, the feet open up. Next one. Draw the bow to connect with the eagle. So a lot of people say draw the bow to shoot the duck, and there's different translations, but we learned draw the bow to shoot the eagle. Now my teacher said that people changed it from the eagle to the duck because they didn't understand the riddle. So the riddle is that you connect with the eagle that flies above you, so as you shoot an arrow, you shoot the arrow to connect with the eagle at the same time. Okay, so we'll go over a couple different versions. The first one is you're just going to make a cross here. Now the secret I would say to this is to breathe in first, and then you're going to pull back the bowstring, and then you're going to use the SS sound as you let go of the arrow and shoot and sink. And back up. Now as you go down, don't let your knees go forward. Instead, open up like this so you feel like you're straddling like an elephant. I always say they should call it the elephant rather than the horse stance or the hippo stance. Okay, so you get nice and round as you go down. Okay, now again, you want to feel like you're pulling back a bowstring so you have a little bit of like this mild stretch. And later you stretch the sinew channel, which opens the meridian channel. And there's more advanced levels to this. We're just scratching the surface. Okay, so from here, left side, inhale first, draw open, hold the bow back, deep breath, shoot. And back. So the SS sound is considered a chaotic resonant sound. It needs to be chaotic in order to break up the stagnation through the lungs. Okay, so that's how the sound works. So try to make the sound. There's no one trying to join the group? No. Okay, so again, back to the right side. Inhale. Draw open. Shoot. And you want to look right through this L like a target. Okay, so as you inhale, you draw open, look through your target, and shoot. Okay, and I'll show the advanced version one time for people that might already know the Bada Jin. You're going to come and tonify by following the numbers out. You're going to purge by opening the channel, cleansing, drawing open, going into lung number 1, and you're going to stimulate that as you shoot and sing. If not, you can stick to the standard version or the basic version. Connecting with the eagle. Coming back. Okay, now the first layer of our protective jacket, we're going to reach up and gather a beautiful silken garment or linen and covering the body, covering over the lungs, and right in front of the lungs is the brocade of courage, integrity, and dignity. White silken cloth. And then it hangs over the whole body, your first layer. Okay, next is raise the single arm to regulate functions of the spleen and stomach. Okay, so from here you're going to reach underneath the earth, inhaling up. Your right hand's going to go up, left hand's going to gently press down. And then you're going to use the ha sound. Worry the heart. It's better to understand the sound. It's like after a long day's work, getting home, sitting in your favorite chair, what's the sound that your body makes? Worry of the heart is the same sound as exhaustion. Inhale. Let the whole body let go, inhaling up. Okay, the second sound is the shu sound, worry of materialism. There's a few different sounds for this one. It's also the hu. We're going to use the shu, inhaling up. Shu. Worry of materialism, worrying about the bills and money, the finances. Inhale. Shu. This was the time when my teacher first said, God said, let there be light, showing the power of sound to move and create energy. So he used to describe worry as like a form of procrastination. It's stuck in your spleen, your pancreas, your stomach. This energy is stuck, so you're worrying. There's different types of worry. Worry of materialism, worry of the heart, but it's like a stuck. So as you make the sound, shoo, and you vibrate it, and you dissipate that stuck energy, now you're taking action. Now you're looking for other ways to create money and create resources. Okay, so if you're feeling stuck right now, keep practicing this and move the energy until you're creating. Inhaling up, right hand goes up, left hand presses down. Shoo. Inhale. Shoo. And one last one, either the ha or the shoo. Inhale. Shoo. Some of you might be doing ha, that's okay. Whatever sound comes out naturally. Inhale. Shoo. Back to the Wuji. Okay, next level is you're going to reach up and you're going to gather that golden yellow cloth, that silk cloth. And you're going to put it over top the white cloth. It's beautiful, it's radiating right over the spleen, but on both sides is the brocade and the stitch patterns of trust, acceptance, and openness. Covering over, laying over top the white garment. Okay, so now you got 2 levels on, 2 layers. Very good. Next one, shake the head, twist the trunk. We're going to do a little bit of the stretch, which is kind of like the advanced version. So open your legs up really good and just loosen up the hips. Happy dog. Josh used to say, well, this is about as close to yoga as we get. It used to be funny. Funnier than me. I only have a few jokes here. So loosen up the hips. I always say you can bark out there if you want to. Okay, and then flatten the back. Bring your belly button up to your spine and stretch like a cat. And exhale. Bring the hands around, and then you're going to reach like you're going to become the turtle coming out of the shell. You're going to extend the neck, opening the neck. 5 or more times, elongate, doing the turtle. And open, and open, and open, and down if you can, hands on the floor, and a little bit of dynamic stretching, just a little bit of bouncing, and you're going to try to bounce and get the cardiovascular all the way down into your toes, the blood pumping down to the toes, smiling. Squeeze the foot if you can, over to the left side, pumping, squeezing the foot. Have fun with it. Back to the center, hands back on the knees, flatten the back, push up the tailbone, look up. Take a deep breath and slowly rounding all the way up, coming up. And hands on the solar plexus. Again, there's lots of versions with each one of these. You can isolate the 6 sections or the 3 burners, different than the triple warmers. Are different systems, are the different than the 3.10. So the triple burners are these areas here, and so this is really the heart, but yes, it's also the function of the respiration, the metabolism, the digestion, assimilation, elimination. So it's working on this whole, on your entire torso. Okay, and the sound is the sigh. Naturally, we all do this. You're going to lean forward. And as you turn around and come around, right about this 45, you're going to feel the sound of the sigh. Release the heat. Inhale. Shake the head. Twist the trunk. And reverse. Inhale. Inhale. Okay, and then we're going to go down one hand. You're going to put one hand and put your other hand on top of it. Feel how warm that is. Just from doing that, how much energy comes out of your hands. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, just trying to isolate. And you're trying to literally like move stuff. So we don't do it in class, of course, but I recommend this is the exercise where you're trying to burp. You're trying to eliminate gas. Because all these things hinder your immune system, the production of your white blood cells. So you really want to see if you can scrunch and get everything moving through the system. So it's great for elimination too. Okay, so forward, grabbing the hands with the stomach, lean back. And reverse. And coming up and back to the sides. Okay, now we're gonna work and reach up and gather the beautiful red silver garment. Put it over top the yellow, over top the white, and right over the heart is the brocade of inner peace, tranquility, and order. Everything is in order. And then it hangs down over top the other garments, and now you have 3 layers on. Will you check the chat just to make sure everyone's okay with their like sounds and or whatnot? Good. Okay, so now we have 3 layers on. Now in the full Wadajin, you do looking back. Okay, the sound is back. I don't know, it got to mute somehow.
Huh. Okay.
10:46, okay. Okay, well, I don't know how that happened. No one touched the computer, so it just went to mute. So I'll go back over, starting again with the 5 strains, 7 impairments. The 5 strains are too much sitting, standing, walking, prolonged use of the eyes, and lying down, sitting, standing, walking, prolonged use of the eyes. In some systems, they call it also the 5 taxes, includes too much talking. Okay, the 7 impairments. The 3 big ones are sudden changes in weather. When the weather changes by 20 degrees, like from 80 to 60 or from 60 to 40, this is when people can't adapt to the environmental change and they get sick. You also have extreme heat, extreme cold, and you have sudden emotional or physical shock. So like a car accident that hits you when you're least expecting it, or you pick up the phone and there's bad news on the other end. All these shock your body. And the other ones are when the emotions have gotten to the excessive points. So when the anger, the frustration is turned to rage, when the sadness is turned to depression, when the emotions have gotten out of control, this is the one exercise that we recommend doing. So you can see 5 strains, 7 impairments. This one exercise works on a lot of different parts. There's a lot of different versions, but the main thing is you want to use the eyes like a reset button. Okay, so I'm going to stand sideways You're going to put your thumbs in your belly button. You're going to inhale, and as your hands get about here, you're going to look back with your eyes as far as you can and stretch the eyes, look down. And then like a living affirmation, you're going to reach out, gathering, cultivating into the body like a living affirmation, using the imagination, visualizing affirmations. We're going to talk about that in questions and answers. Okay, so inhale, looking back, stretch the eyes, and reach out and gather and cultivate into the body. Okay, I'll stand forward. Now you want to gently rise on the toes. You can look down, you can look up, or you can look in the middle. In more advanced classes, we break all that down, the whys and how come, and what your body will naturally do. Follow the path of least resistance. Okay, and so from here, inhale, look back, look down. Exhale, reach out, gather, cultivate, and draw into your body. Health and wellness is the default. Okay, inhale. Exhale. To the body. Now, my teacher also used to say that another name for this, a higher level, was called swimming in the Tao, swimming in the presence of heaven. So the idea is that once you leave behind you the 5 strain 7 impairments, then as you're looking out, you're looking at the birds and the trees and the grass, the beauty of the clouds and nature and the water, and you're seeing this beauty for what it really is. You're swimming in the Tao, and so it becomes a very almost like meditative practice. Okay, so a few more. Inhale, back, looking down, stretch the eyes, reaching out, gather, and then as you come all the way in, let the weight sink all the way back. Good. Inhale. Exhale. And hold on. So now again, you can look up or you can look down. Now I'll give you one advanced version of this that one time was a big secret. It was the inner sounds of this one. So the inner sound, or the sound that we all use when we let go of something, is the sound of ah. Ah, what a relief that is. Ah, whatever it may be. We use the sound all the time. Now the other secret sound is the Om sound. So it's a Sanskrit word, Om. I'm sure you've heard of it before. But in this case, it translates to the speak thus into existence. So the idea is that you use the Om sound, whatever you're thinking about, whatever follows that is kind of manifested into the physical realm. That's why Om is in the front of a lot of chants. The Medicine Buddha, Om Bakaje, the Parjaparamita, Om Date, the 6-syllable sound, Om Mani Padme Hum, whatever it is, the Om sound is, you can say, the activator. Okay, so we'll do it one more time. We're going to use the Ah sound, letting go, and we're going to use the Om sound, gathering, swimming in the Tao, and these are made internally. Okay, I'll make them, but you make them silently. Okay, so inhale, look back, look down. Om. Hold that. Very nice. It's like a living affirmation. As you later in other courses, we'll talk about the power of visualization, to use the senses to hear, see, smell, taste things as you visualize, to use the imagination to spark what the idea is, and the affirmation is the sound or the things that you say. Okay? Okay, so next one, touch the toes to strengthen the kidneys, reinforce the loins. The loins in this case is your body's ability to create a lot of, You could say sexual hormones, which are some of the most powerful hormones in your body, the testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. Okay, as you bend over, you strengthen the kidneys. And the idea is to let go of any fears, phobias, or bad habits. So this is a really big one. This is the first exercise that really helped me. So to give you an idea, I'll share you with mine, which was, let's say, public speaking, and now I'm perfectly okay with it. So the idea is we're going to use the chui, or shui sound, and there's also the fu sound, but we're going to use the shui. And so as we throw away the fear of public speaking, shui, and then as we come back up, we're going to stand, and now how does the opposite of that feel? So now I'm feeling like I'm comfortable giving a speech to 10,000 people. So maybe you have the afraid of heights, you're going to throw that image of you out, and as you're going to come back, you're going to stand strong like you're on top of the Empire State Building. Okay, or you get the idea. Okay, so from here, you're going to inhale up. You're going to gather, you're going to use the shui sound, you're going to let it off the body. Shui! Circle, breathing in. And then you're going to exhale, emptying all your air out, opposite of the lungs, let all your air out. And you're going to return with no breath. Okay, now what you're trying to do is you're trying to press out turtle back. So turtle back is this, when someone's really fearful or had a lot of fear in their life, they start to get this posture like this. So the idea is that it's not a stretch like you're trying to go like this, you're trying to press up. Usually around the thorax 11 or 12, you're trying to press that up and pop that out so your posture is nice and straight. And then you're standing with no breath and you're standing in this strong, confident posture. Okay, so from here again, inhaling up. Any fear or phobia, you're going to grab it and let it go. Shrink. Circle, breathing in. Exhale. Up the legs, into the kidneys, pressing out the turtle back, and wiping off the four desires and standing strong and confident. Okay, one more. Inhale. Gather. Let it go. Shrink. Circle, breathing in. Breathing out. Up through the legs, into the kidneys, pressing out, turtle back. And return with confidence, nice and strong. Hold the breath. Try to hold this posture. I always like this saying that says, from the Book of Five Rings, make your daily posture your warrior posture and your warrior posture your daily posture. So you go back to those 18 rules of posture that we talked about in the beginning of the class. And you're always trying to stand that. No matter what you're doing, you're always trying to stand in this strong, confident posture. Okay, so now back to the royal jacket. You're going to reach up, gather in the beautiful blue. You're going to put it over top the red, over top the yellow, over top the white. And as it hangs down over the kidneys, brocaded over the kidneys, is self-knowledge and confidence, stamina, endurance, willpower. And now you have 4 layers of the jacket on. Okay, next one. Feet open up. Punching with angry eyes to build up physical strength. And this is the one that my teacher used to say that his teacher said that he needed the most, and he used to say that to me, and so I'm going to say that to you guys, that this is the one that you need the most. Let go of your anger, frustration, and resentment. Okay, so the ancients were very clever. Maybe we've heard of the theory of punching the punching bag at something when we're upset, or throwing the darts at someone, picture, to get over something. So this is the idea that you can transform your anger and your frustration over to growth hormone and testosterone in your body. So the way to do that is if you stand nice in a nice posture and you just let the weight drop. For me, it's right there. I need to go lower than that. I need to, as I'm punching, I need to go into a lower posture to stimulate the hamstrings, to stimulate the major production of my biggest muscles in my body. And that helps my pineal pituitary stimulate more testosterone and growth hormones from my body. So the ancients said this is the way to transform that anger and frustration over to something that's very healthy for you. Okay, and the sound is the shh sound, and the liver is associated with the eyes, so you want it to open the eyes really wide, shh, like you can let it so it can come out of the eyes. If you get really good at this, they always say there's 3 levels of defense. The first one is your eyes, and you got your eyes and your warning in your eyes. The next level is your voice, shh, or stop, and the third is your fist. Okay, so there's, again, each one of these exercises we can spend hours on breaking down the subtleties, the riddles, the medical Qigong aspects, the stretching the tendons and ligaments and sinew channels to access the meridians. So if you guys are more interested later, then make sure to let me know, and I will send you an email for the upcoming courses in June that will go deeper into these aspects and these exercises. Okay, so have a light fist. Take a deep breath. You're going to start by punching to the right and sink and punch. Punch to the left. Punch to the right forward. Left forward. Right. Left. Right forward. Left. Punch. 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 And relax. Okay, we're going to do 5 sets fast. Now again, the wisdom of Dashi said, what's the worst type of anger? Is when a loved one's hurt you, and it's the anger of the heart. So at the very end, which is going to be our left, we're going to come up and we're just going to yank it off the heart. We're going to forgive, we're going to let go, and we're going to move on. Take a deep breath. Now try to stay in control, because this is like emotional content. This is where you're trying to stay in control of your emotions at the same time. Take a deep breath. Punch, 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 punch. Punch, 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 grab, let it go. Woo! Yeah. Usually in class there's like this big fog of clouds, like, and we always say it's you that needs to go home and do a few more. All right. Which is usually me. Okay, reaching up, gathering the beautiful green layer, putting it over top the blue, over top the red, over top the yellow, over top the white, and right over the liver is the brocade on both sides of patience, kindness, and benevolence. Okay, so now you're wearing this brocaded jacket of protection that will protect you from your own acquired or negative emotions and also from other people. So let's go back and reinforce it one more time. Starting with the beautiful white layer, reaching up, gathering the beautiful silk white layer and putting it over top like the undergarment. Radiating out courage. The beautiful yellow layer, reaching up, over top the white, radiating out trust. And the beautiful red layer, over top the yellow and the white, radiating out inner peace. The beautiful blue layer, over top the red, yellow, and white, radiating out self-knowledge. And the beautiful emerald green layer over top the blue, red, yellow, and white, radiating out patience. Okay, now as we move in our lives, we have this protective royal jacket on. Okay, and which leads us to the very last one, jolt the body to shake away illness. So listen to that, jolt the body to shake away illness. This is a formula that's been used for thousands of years. To shake away illness is to move the lymphatic system. So the way that we can see that in this version is we all have these jackets on now, but every day we pick up a little bit of dirt. We pick up a little bit of worry. We pick up a little bit of anxiety. We pick up a little bit of fears. Pick up a little frustration. Okay, so we're going to jolt off anything remaining off our jackets. And the formula to keep yourself well is 36 times in the morning, afternoon, and night. And they say that the regular colds will pass you by because it will help move your lymphatic system. In 2002 or 4, NASA said that bouncing on one of those little round rebounder exercise things was the healthiest exercise you can do in the world. And I'm like, cool, because we've been doing that in Qigong for 5,000 years and we know how to explain it in a better way. Okay, so we're going to start off real light. We're going to shake off our jacket. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with a bounce. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, you can hold the kidneys, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and shake it all off. Get your jacket, go back. It's radiating out. You're feeling good. You're looking good. And we usually like to walk around the studio and the store after that, and everyone's kind of like, you know, feeling like they got this protective jacket on. So I hope this can protect you in these times and you can stay strong. And take a deep breath. Now just take 1 minute. Okay, so go back to your 18 rules of posture. Feet straight, knees bent, hips relaxed, round the perineum. Close the lower gates. Relax the stomach, relax the waist, tuck the chest, stretch the back, relax the shoulders. Heavy the elbows, hollow the armpits, relax the wrist. Push up the ceiling, tuck the chin. Slightly close the eyes for inner vision, close the mouth, flare the nostrils, stop the ears, and place the tongue pointing towards the nose and close your eyes. There's someone waiting in here. Okay, and this last part that we're going to go over is called Golden Ball, Qigong meditation. So what we've done so far is what I mentioned earlier, the purge, tonify, and regulate. The other way to understand that is if you have a cup of water and it's halfway filled with dirty water, you can't pour more water on that and it's never going to get clean. So the idea is the sounds purge. So the sounds, the Bois d'Ajin in of itself is purging the acquired emotions, the negative emotions. Then you use the colors and the affirmations to tonify. So you have to empty out the dirty water before you can add the fresh water. Okay, now we've got that. The last part is to regulate the qi. And in this case, it regulates it through the 8 extraordinary vessels. And again, if you want more information, the things that I'm saying, for some of the things I'm saying, then tune in or ask for me to send you on our email, which I will anyways, okay? So this last part, one of my favorite exercises, and a lot of people's favorite exercises, because it's the 8 manifestations of energy. It shows you how energy is constantly moving. And so when you feel stuck, all you have to do is remember to change it. Okay, so your hands are going to go out here, tongue's pointing towards your nose. You're going to inhale and rock forward and gather a golden ball. You're going to exhale as it rises up and ascends and sit back. Inhale, rock forward as it expands. Exhale as you rock back as it contracts. Inhale, flows in, rock forward. Exhale, rock back, flows out. Inhales, descends as I rock forward. Exhale as I rock back and disperse. Okay, so then it just starts again. It's fairly easy. You start with your inhale, you rock forward, and then it's just back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so inhale, gather. Exhale, ascend. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Inhale, flows in. Exhale, flows out. Inhale, descends. Exhale, disperses. The 8 changes of energy, 8 manifestations. Inhale, gather the golden ball. Exhale, you feel it, see it rise up. It expands, contracts. 5 energies flow in through the body, 5 energies flow out of the body. All things that rise must ascend, and all things that gather must disperse. Everything's impermanence. Gather, ascend, expand, contract, flow in, flow out, descend, disperse. And one last time. Sometimes I like just to walk and do this. Gather, ascend, expand, contract, flow in, flow out, ascend, disperse. Showing that we're constantly creating in our lives, okay? So if you want to get out of your head, create. Create, create, create. Keep putting things out there. Read, write, create, dance, move, create, stay activated. Maybe do a rhyme with that. Maybe we do a song with that. Where's Nick Aslett? We'll have to get him on there so he can bust a rhyme with that. Okay, and Z too. Okay, the last part here of the class is what we call Chen village closing. This is extremely important because at the very end of your practice, another way to regulate out of those 3 medical Qigong principles is to return the energy into the lower dantian. Because here is, like you could say, is a safety spot. As the energy goes here and returns here, then it'll regulate where it needs to go in the body. So you never want to leave it in an organ or anywhere. You always want to regulate it back down into the lower dantian. And as you put the energy here, you can also say it helps you remember. Okay, it's like an amazing meal. So the end is like this satisfaction that we all just had this amazing Qigong meal. Okay, so we're going to reach into the earth, gather the universe, cover the whole body, and down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Swallow your saliva, seal it up, lock it up. Stepping in with the right. Saluting out. Paying respects to each other, teachers of the past, present, and future, and our places of practice. And in honor of our tradition, the Lohan tradition, the left hand makes a candle base, the right hand slides around and slides the wick into the candle, and the purpose of the candle is to spread its light. Yay! Hey!
Hey, I'm wondering in yoga, we have like certain things that we try to avoid during the cycle for women. And I'm wondering if there's anything like that with this practice to keep in mind or to avoid.
Yeah, the Bois d'Argent is famously known for being a very safe form, and that was the main one that we would cover. Um, but there's a few of the moves that say like the punching with angry eyes, because it's kind of and you're bending over for the touch the toes one. So I would just say just to be a little bit lighter on those. But again, it's generally a safe set of exercises. So just make sure that your doctor or your whoever your practitioner is, that if if you feel like you're in between, then check with them to make sure. Just so we have the disclaimer, we don't want you to push your body. If any one of these exercises give you any pain or anything, then I would suggest you stop and just keep it a little bit lighter. But generally, they're pretty safe. Yes, if someone did not pay in time, if they pay, then they can still access, they'll get the private link because it's a closed link that they'll get. So they can still do that. I'm not sure. I have to look and see if I don't think anyone signed up afterwards, but we had people all the way up to 950 signing up. So that was cool. And I know some people didn't make it on here too. They'll still get the link. So everyone will still get the link. So yes. And you can, if you don't want to just speak out, you can, I'm looking at your guys' questions over there. When you do the Tea class, give us time. Yes, I will send that in the link. And let me just see if there's any other questions over here in the chat room. And then I want to show you guys what I use personally. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Sue. Great, 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 great. Great. Some other people are getting on here now too, so great. So I want to talk a little bit about questions and answers. The first one was with Qigong, but if you guys don't have any questions, then that's cool. About immunity. And so the first thing I would say is, the immunity of the mind. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Priscilla, Joshua. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lori. So that's where I like the Bois d'Argent more than anything else. And, I'm just a real person. And so I just always share my personal experiences. I started this business 6 years ago, and, with what's going on now, and, I've been through a divorce. I have a 4-year-old, I'm just like everyone else. I have regular stresses. In the past, opening the business, I had a lot of financial stress, and I've had emotional stress, and I've learned a lot of Qigong. I published the other day of, all our different Qigong, about 40 different sets. I went through the medical college, became a medical Qigong master, studied with one grand master for 20 years, learned all kinds of Qigong. But he always used to say that this one was the bread and butter. And so this one is what cleanses those emotions. And I've learned to understand that those are acquired emotions. So we need anger, we need fear, we need worry. These are what keeps us in balance, keeps our checks and balances together. We need to have these, but we don't want them to get out of balance. So the Bois d'Argent cleanses away these acquired emotions. And so when you have stress in your life afterwards, there's nothing that I found better. There's no other Qigong that I found better to relieve those emotions from my body than this particular set of Qigong exercises. Now, a lot of people teach the Bois d'Argent out there, and I'm not going to poo-poo the way that they teach it because there's so many different versions, but I would highly suggest you do the Bois d'Argent with sounds, because that's the sounds purge, the sounds move the energy. So the 6 healing sounds, the way that we learned it was inside of the Bois d'Argent. Now, there's also using the 6 healing sounds by themselves, but in the Bois d'Argent, they draw the bow with the and you see people do the draw the bow, and then there's no sound. It's not as effective. So the sounds are very powerful for cleansing the emotions. All the old masters, they all did a form of the 6 healing sounds. And most of them all did a form of the Bois Dajin, the sitting version, or the standing versions. So these are like classical Qigong. So 6 healing sounds being the oldest. Some people say the 5 animal frolics and the Bois Dajin. Those are like your 3 big ones. But definitely the sounds I've explained in other videos was the original medicine. When we have pain, why do we make ah? Because that dissipates the pain a little bit. So we use these sounds to cleanse our body of emotions. And in all forms of medicine, we know the emotions are the root. So I draw this chart in the past that's kind of like these 3 tiers, and you never hear about the 3rd tier. So you always hear like, what causes death? Let's just say it's cancer, it's cardiovascular disease. And then you move over a tier. Well, what causes that? Smoking, alcohol. And that's usually where it stops at. But if you go over to that 3rd tier, well, what makes someone use alcohol is like sadness and depression and anger. And then they use alcohol and then they die of, cardiovascular disease, or they die of cancer. So we are working over here in that 3rd column. We're working at the root of diseases. We're working, and there's also this understanding of you can cure disease, but can you cure the person? Meaning that sometimes people can beat their diseases through conventional means, but the idea is, did they really cure themselves? Did they cure their own emotions? Okay, so that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get to those root causes of where the dis-ease or the disharmony start. Okay, that's the beauty of Qigong. And like I said before, I've been saying for many years, I almost wish there was a different name than Qigong, because when people hear Qigong, they might think that that's Asian, or that it's like Qi. Well, I don't believe in energy, and Gong, and they just don't understand it. But maybe in the future, it's going to be like the human sciences, or it's going to be some other name that depicts for Westerners and for people all around the world the beauty that this art has to offer. And I believe it's one of the most powerful arts there is for the human body. And the medical Qigong comes first, because they had to learn the systems before they applied it to practicing spirituality, and they had to learn the medical systems before they applied that to martial arts systems. So the medical Qigong is the oldest. It's also the oldest of the 4 branches of Chinese medicine. So from massage to herbs to acupuncture, they all have devolved out of medical Qigong. And acupuncture is a great art. We use invisible needles, and we can floss the whole channel, and we can use energy, and we can manipulate the whole channel. We're not limited by one needle. Now, if you learn medical Qigong and you're an acupuncturist, then you can really do a lot of things, because you can stay there and you can clear channels and you can connect channels and you can work on some different systems. You can work on ghost points, and you can work on the 8 extraordinary vessels. You can work on some deeper points in the body, again, with medical Qigong. So invisible needles, remote treatments, all these things are in the medical Qigong systems in the higher levels as you go through. Okay, so now let's talk about my favorites. And again, these are my general recommendations. I'm not saying that they cure anything. I'm not saying it's going to, make you superhuman. But what I will say is what other teachers have told me, and I've come to learn for myself, is that when you take the tonic herbs and you do Qigong, they both broaden your horizon a little bit. So then you're a little bit more, you have a little bit more energy to stay up a little bit longer, to finish the projects that you're working on. You have a little bit more ability to adapt to environmental or emotional stress.
Sorry. It's my cat.
Of course it's a cat. If you're filming, you know that they come running over. Oh, that was too funny. That was too funny. Meow. The cat's a little bit late. He should have did that in the cat stretch. Okay, so I'm gonna slide over this table. And I'm gonna show you guys some of my favorites again, just some of my favorites here. And of course, my ultimate favorite. So again, my background a little bit, I talked about at the beginning of the class, and I've been selling vitamins and herbs for 30 years. I'm 48 years old. I've been doing it. And again, I've trained with some of the most famous people in the wellness industry. I've worked with incredible people. I worked 10 years at Stay Healthy. 10 years, I never called in or missed a day. That's how dedicated it was. I never even took a vacation for the first 5 years. I love what I do. I love wellness. I've used all kinds of products. And when I opened up my place here, Naturally Organic, I didn't want a big store full of a whole bunch of stuff. I wanted real whole foods, vitamins, and supplements that I had learned to be the best over my 30 years experience. And not just the best products, because there's a lot of good products out there, but the best companies. The companies that are real, ethical, and ideally still mom and pop owned. Okay, so that's the companies that I support. And what I've come to here is, you know, I don't really take any isolated nutrients myself. So vitamin C and those things are great, but I don't take like ascorbic acid myself. I don't take isolated calcium. I don't take isolated zinc and things of that nature. When I worked for a master herbalist for many years, he was a master of saying, well, if you want to take calcium, well, hydrilla is the highest source of calcium. You want to take vitamin C, camu, amla berry, you know, acerola cherry. He knew what plants and foods were the highest in those nutrients. And so those are still real foods, and that's what our body needs more than ever. So where I've come to as the epitome of wellness products is these beautiful, tasty, delicious tonic teas. There's nothing better. It's real food that absorbs right into your body instantaneously. And when you add like the flowers, now this one is not too beautiful because I just wanted to kind of keep it a little bit simple for you guys. But if you follow me on Facebook, you see sometimes I do really elaborate ones. And my little boy, we just posted a video, the Funky Time, you know, tonic teas with little J. And some of the ingredients that we use are like the goji berries, one of nature's highest sources of vitamin A, lots of vitamin C, jujube dates, cordyceps, logon fruit, schizandra, and I added this Shaolin Inner Power tea, which is one of the very few teas that's actually authorized by the Shaolin Temple, created by Wang Bo, a good friend of Ron Tea Garden. 90% of the proceeds go back to Shaolin Temple. So this is what I made this morning for me, for here to train. And again, I would say one bowl of this nutrient level, good luck eating a meal that was going to have as much nutrients as this. So one thing that I learned in the health industry is that little supplement facts box that you see on our products, that was designed to trick you. All calories are not created equal. So people are worrying about looking at calories and fats and proteins and those kind of things when they're not looking at the ingredients. So forget looking at that little box and look at the ingredients of what things are and get back to eating real food and superfoods. The thing with superfoods like this, though, which is different than the foods. So I always say, even if you have an all organic diet and you're eating all the best stuff from Whole Foods or wherever you go, if you're not using the tonics, you're missing an aspect in your diet. Okay. Dashi always said that there was no masters that didn't master tonic herbs and did the jiaos and healing balms and formulas. Because how can you reach your mastery level if you're not giving your body the right foods? So the right foods is very important. The right tonic herbs is very important to add to your diet. And this is a beautiful, tasty, delicious way to do that. There you go. We like it? Nice. It's good, huh? I guarantee it's one of the most addictive things you'll ever do if you get started on these tonic teas. Now, the cool thing that we got coming up is my next online class is going to be a Tonic Tea Class. So I have these packages starting. They're going to be starting from anywhere from $20 all the way up to $100, where you can get this kit and everything together. And when you buy one of these, we ship it to you, and that gives you access to this next class. So the details will be in the follow-up email and the flyer. And then we'll all have our tea sets at home, and then we'll do a class like this, and then you guys will all have these packages delivered right to your house wherever you live. And then we're going to all share tea, and I'm going to tell you amazing parables and Chinese stories and tea stories, and I'm going to share with you guys, and we're going to all toast our teas up into the camera. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. It's something that, again, Qigong has helped me adapt, and so I'm adapting. High five. Good job. Yes, it's going to be super fun. Okay, so the first level, tonic teas. Okay, the next level is, of course, it's always about prevention. If you want to, really keep yourself healthy, we know it's about prevention. Prevention. So the way that the old school doctors used to work is that you actually had a physician in your family that you paid every month to take care of you. And if you got ill, you stopped payment. Imagine if our doctors worked that way today, right? So when you were healthy, you paid a monthly stipulation, but if you got sick, then you stopped payment until they got you healthy again. And that's the way it used to be, and that's the way it should be, right? So that's what we do here is we're into preventative. We want you to be exuberantly healthy, radiant health. We want you to use these tonics and use these preventative herbs and use these things that build your body, build your mind, build your spirit, so then you never even have to use the inferior herbs. So there's 3 classifications in herbs: superior, general, and inferior. When I first started, I started with the inferior ones, of course. I started with the golden seals and the echinacea, and these inferior ones that you use to when you're already sick. Okay, the general herbs are generally different for everyone, depending on your own constitution and your, things that you might be prone to, your climate where you might live, your body type, and what you might do for a living. You take these certain class of general herbs. And then we have the superior herbs, which are basically good for everyone. They help with the Jing, Qi, and Chen. And these type of concepts I'll explain to you in the tea course, and they help keep your body exuberantly healthy. So then again, the general sick and cold and flu seasons and things like that pass you by. Okay, and a couple of the tonics that I really like for the superior are the Supreme Protector. This is one by Dragon Herbs, and again, we sell all these and we can ship all these out for you. I'm not really trying to sell you right now. I'm just trying to educate you. So if you don't want to use mine, then you can get on Amazon, or you can do whatever you want. But of course, try to support a real store if you can, anything. Okay, this one has some different reishi mushrooms in it, Astragalus, Schizandra. The Astragalus is the most studied herb in the world for boosting the white blood cell count in your body. Anyone on chemotherapy or radiation should be on Astragalus. So this is really good. And I'm going to have a Qigong class that's really designed for immunity. Like when we say laughing is the best medicine, and even doctors will tell you that, there's a real reason why. Because when you laugh, your bones vibrate, especially your sacrum and your pelvic area vibrates, and that emits white blood cells, red blood cells, and stem cells. And those white blood cells are transformed in your thymus and in your spleen and your gut. And those are transformed to different types of killer cells and things for your immune system. So laughing is truly the best medicine. Laughing, vibrating the bones and emitting these cells, these white blood cells out of your bones, and then learning how to transform and storm in the lymphatic nodes. And so they're kind of like, we'll use a soldier analogy when I talk about it. So then they're ready to die for you. Okay, so Astragalus helps with that. Okay, and then again, if you're going to take vitamin C, what I like is Camu Camu. This actually says right on here, immune protector. Okay, so it's one of nature's highest sources of vitamin C. So this is something that's, really good for your body. The green screen is kind of picking that up because it's green. Camu Camu. I also like the reishis because those are immune system modulating. I did a post and I put boosting the immune system, and then I got people with autoimmune disease going, oh, you shouldn't boost the immune system. Of course you shouldn't, but that wasn't my concept with boosting the immune system. So I'm trying to use better words now, like regulate, fortify, boost, strengthen the immune system, I guess is better terms. Mushrooms are one of the best things that you can do. Not those little white mushrooms, little cheap mushrooms in the store, but real mushrooms like reishi, maitake, shiitake, lion's mane. These type of mushrooms are very, very good for your body, and they are very closely related to your body. They're more closely related to you than plants are in general. So the way that their immune systems works is the way our immune systems work. And it's like the law of signatures, they're very, very good for you. And I'm not going to go too much into detail on, the ins and outs today, but I will have future classes if you guys want to understand that better. One of my absolute favorites that I take all the time is the Eight Immortals. Probably because the name, it's a really cool name, Eight Immortals, want to be an immortal. But it's got like cordyceps, wild reishi, goji berries. It's got the Hishu Wu, Schizandra, Tibetan lotus, Tibetan rhodiola, wild American ginseng. Absolute powerhouse to boost and regulate the immune system. Another one of the most classic formulas in Chinese medicine is the yin Chao. This is normally what people would take on the first signs of getting a cold or a flu, and also can be taken a few every day as just preventative. So I really like the yin Chao. And then if you absolutely do get something right now, what you would want is you'd want something that removes heat toxins. And so the Coptis and Scoot is a 4-herb formula, sometimes referred to as the 4 yellows. And so it's just designed to like push things out of your body. And so this is what I recommend if you actually come down with something. The other thing that I really like is a form of silver. Now, not all silver is not created equally. There's colloidal silvers and there's ionic. The sovereign silver is a form of ionic silver. And so it's really micronized, really small, and it gets into the cells. And silver has been used for a long, long time. Back in the day when you had a cut, you used to tape a silver quarter or something there to keep it from getting infected. They used to put silver dollars in big jugs of water to keep bacteria and things growing in the water for long periods of time. So silver is good. I see some of you guys commenting, yes, great, Yes, sir, medicine is an essential element to Kung Fu. Absolutely, Jonathan. Jonathan Fields, he's a great guy. He's on here. If you don't know him, follow him on Facebook, Jonathan Fields. He's an acupuncturist. He's a Qigong teacher. He's someone that I admire and look up to. Jonathan, thank you for joining us today. You're awesome, dude. You're doing it. You're doing it. Lester Holmes, there's a few people out there that are really doing it out there that I'm friends with. And the other one is I like the Thieves Essential Oil by Young Living, because Thieves is, the name comes from thieves, was that the thieves that stole the spices like cinnamon and clove, when the plagues came by, they didn't get the plagues. And so the idea is this is like a biblical formula, basically, a biblical idea of, using these essential oils. You can put this on the bottom of your feet. They also make like a household cleaner that you can clean everything with it. And it's very strong antiviral bacteria. And the one thing I forgot today was I was going to clip herbs, but if you follow me, I'm going to do a video maybe later today when I get home. I want to do a video of what I feel is paramount, because it kind of goes with the real foods, the teas, is having a garden. And some of my favorite herbs that I grow about 20 different ones, but the favorite ones that I grow, like oregano and sage and rosemary and lemon balm and different types of mints and parsley. And every day that I eat, I pick some of those and I make one plate. And if I'm eating some potatoes, or I made a smoothie yesterday with like apples and oranges, and then I put a whole bunch of fresh peppermint in there, and just brings it to life. And so, I want to do a video on that, because again, the spices are an essential element to health that we don't often use too much anymore. And you only need a little bit. You only need a few little oregano leaves to, get that essential oil and get those powerhouses to boost your protective immune system. And they're tasty. And then they make like any dish like amazing. So I always say that there's no place you can go. I don't care. There's no restaurant you can go and eat as good as I eat at home. There's absolutely no place, because I'll get the best foods from Sprouts and Whole Foods. And then I go home and I cut all my own herbs and I put it in there. And then I make beautiful combinations, and I make, like, smoothies, and I make juices, and I use a crock pot, and I make a lot of the change of season teas and stews. And so this is what we need. We need to think about boosting our immune system coming from our food, because I have seen a lot of Qigong out there right now, people talking about the effects of what's going on with the lungs. And that's true, but what you're not hearing is two things, is that your spleen energetically processes your food and sends that energy up to your lungs. It's a simple way to understand it. So yes, the lungs are, being affected, but what it really is what you eat is what's going on with your lungs. Okay, so you still can't get around with what you eat and the herbs that you use. You have to learn to eat better. Okay, so we know, at least we should know by now, there's a lot of chemicals and additives and preservatives and different things in our food. So we got to get back to whole food nutrition, growing a little herb garden. The herbs are very simple to grow. Okay, and juicing and blending and using these different plants in our diet on a daily basis. Okay. So that's the summary, is that we want to use real foods making the tonic teas. We want to grow a little herb garden, because the spices in our garden are very, very powerful. You don't need a lot of them. We want to add some supplements just to be a protective layer. Another way to think of the tonic herbs is what makes a tonic is that it needs to be an environment that is stressful. So some of the best tonics in the world grow in the most harshest climate. So when a plant, so I always say our regular food, even organic food from Whole Foods, it's very baby. So my little funny story is that, the little bit of iceberg lettuce, that's organic, is growing every day. And at 6 a.m., oh, here comes the water. Okay, get your little water. Oh, it's too windy. We're going to cover you. Okay, it's, I don't want to lose you. We don't want to lose any cells. Okay, and then at 6 p.m., here comes a little few drips of water again. So the plant never really has to stress. But what we want is we want plants to have to be in 60-degree weather, then drop down to 30-degree weather. We want it don't rain for 3 weeks, and then it rains for a week straight. The more a plant has to adapt, then the stronger it comes, and the stronger it's able to help you adapt. The other thing to think about tonics is, in a lot of the tonics, they grow for longer periods of time. So foods that are grown in the grocery store, they usually only grow one season. They're fast to market, they don't spoil, they sit on the shelf, and that's what most people will buy. But the tonics, they sometimes, like astragalus roots grown in the ground for 5 or 10 years, the ginseng 7 years plus, the he shu wu 10 to 15 years. The mushrooms take years to grow sometimes. And so the longer a plant has to grow, the more it has to stress, the more tonic it becomes for you. So I always say, try to add some of the tonic herbs into your diet. The other cool thing to think about the tonic herbs, like the mushrooms, is even 20 years ago, and definitely 50 years ago, these weren't available for everyone. They were only available for really wealthy people, our royal families, our top government officials. And so now it's only in this time that you can get these amazing mushrooms. Back in the day, in the old days, if you were caught with the reishi, only the royal family, only the emperor was allowed to eat reishi mushrooms, like the really old ones. So now all of us can be royal family. We do our royal family, Qigong, and have our protective jacket, and then we take these tonics, and now our immune systems are balanced, fortified, regulated, and boosted. And so now these little general, colds and flus just bounce right off of us, and just these emotions bounce right off of us, and we protect ourselves and we keep ourselves strong. Yeah. How are we doing out there? We have any questions? Okay. Good. We still have a little bit of time.
Do you have a recommended reading?
Oh, recommended reading. Okay, we can add that on there. Yes, I do have some recommended reading. First would be, let's say, for Qigong. There's 3 Qigong people I really like. Of course, the #1 author I believe that's out there is Professor Jerry Allen Johnson. He's the founder. He's the most decorated master in Qigong and in Bagua and some other areas, some Tai Chi and stuff, but especially with the Medical Chi-Gong, he's wrote the Medical Chi-Gong system. That's a 5-book system, or used to be one big book. They call it the Big Book of Jer, but it's about this thick. It's what we use for our Medical Chi-Gong courses. I also like Dr. Yang Jing Ming. He's one of the best dry erase boarders, I would say. He has great DVDs. Every Tai Chi person out there needs to watch the Nei Gong for martial artists, because there's such a huge confusion of way that you should breathe, and the inner martial grand circulation practice and the iron body training that I learned from Grandmaster Ba is basically follows his system to the T. And so I know that he knows what he's talking about. He has his own publishing company, so he has some great books on the root of Qigong. He has the Iron Body book, on your next level. He has the 8 sections of brocade, which would be, if you just want to keep it basic, then get Dr. Yang Jing Ming's 8 sections of brocade book, because that's a really good intro for basic people. And I will also remind me to publish the reading list.
Done.
Got my secretary there. So I'll also publish my full reading list. And then I like Mantak Chia. He's got some really good books out there too, some energy system books, and he's got some good videos. He's got some, videos that you can find online, of course. He's, some older ones, and he's also got some new ones on London Real, talking about the 6 healing sounds and how to, get the hormones going. One really good practice that he really likes, he teaches, and I also teach, and I also like a lot, it's in our practice, is just this concept of when you tuck the head and you roll the hips underneath, and you roll up underneath like this, and you tuck underneath, and then you open back and you stick your butt out, and you make this sacral pump of opening and closing, of how you get all these hormones and pheromones and all these things stimulated through your body. And so he's a real big believer in that. Dr. Stephen Chang, I'm not too familiar with. Again, there's a lot of good guys out there. These are just my top 3 guys that I like. Spinal breathing, yes, the contraction and opening, then contraction, rolling the hips underneath, tucking, getting your spine. I always say, if someone says roll your hips underneath, they should include tuck your chin. If someone says tuck your chin, they should include rolling the hips underneath. So those two need to go together, this like this. And so, the back of your head is like this. If your head is straight, your chin is straight, it's going backwards. So you got to bring this to the top of your head. The Ba Wei point is going up. So the sacral pump, basically when you sit down, you get that. But then people sit down too long and it goes to sleep. So if you're sitting down a lot, do 10 of these sacral pumps, 10 or 20, and you get like a nice little burst of energy and a release of some great hormones throughout your body and whatnot. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Okay, we got a few minutes left, and let me just scan through the questions here. I see some questions. How do you order products from you? Well, I will have some of these products available on our website, and so you guys are going to get links to, some of these packages and the tea packages and things of that moving forward. And our online store, there's not much on there right now because we're redoing it, so everything got taken off, and now we just have a few of my apparel on there. But in the next week or two, all these products and packages will start to be on there. So we got all the pictures and everything taken, so we'll be moving forward with that. Yes, you guys are looking forward to the tea link. Yeah, that's going to be really fun, drinking tea with everyone from all around. And Let's just look over this last part. Yeah, so, just disclaimer, don't practice this, or again, these are just my recommendations. I'm not making any claims. Myself or any of my students are Golden Dragon or naturally organic. We're not responsible. So just practice and be gentle with yourself as you try these practices, or if you have any doubt whatsoever, then consult your doctor, your physician. And yeah. And that you guys that kind of signed in late today, you didn't get the email that has everything, laid out for you. So you will get that, because I will include that. And so it has like these affirmations and things that we went over today. It has the longevity set, the 3 Chi awakening. It had one PDF form in there, which was the basic of the Bois Dajin. And, with that one that I sent you guys, my teacher said that originally our Bois Dajin, it has a little bit more story. So, it comes supposedly from Lu Dunbin, and his teacher etched those little things in the cave and said if he could figure those out, that he'd become an immortal. And what an immortal means is, in the Eastern culture, is different than what we think of it in the Western culture. We think of like the Highlanders, like becoming like living forever. But the true essence of an immortal is a couple of things. The first is that you become immortalized. You live such a righteous and virtuous life that people want to emulate you for generations after your life. Okay, so that's the idea. You live such a good, virtuous, and righteous life. The second level is that you learn these practices to eventually be able to ascend, meaning that you leave your body before you pass away. And so that's the highest level. And my teacher always used to say, be careful not to become the scholar more than the immortal. And so what he meant by that is, learning and reading is good, but our tradition was the ones that were out doing it. We were doing the practice, so we were becoming the immortal, not just learning. So it was one of the lessons he gave actually here in the studio one time. He was, he'd come by. He used to come by like every week and have tea and just talk. But one day we were standing in here and he was like, he just used this and he looked out the window. He's like, a lot of people that write books and do different things, they're inside right here writing about the experiences. And our tradition is that we're standing outside and we're doing it. And so that's what his words of wisdom was, to not become too scholarly, to make sure that our goal was to become the immortal, to live and breathe and practice these arts. And the 3 arts were Qigong, Feng Shui, and astrology. And at one time, those 3 were all immersed together with shamanism. And you had to know all 3 of them in order to master any one of them. And nowadays, those schools have been separated. But originally, they were one school, and that's what we teach at my school. We teach all 3 levels. And as you go through our courses and our training, we have a 10-year curriculum. This is just scratching the surface of what we covered today. And so if you go to my website, earthpowers.com, you can see our curriculum on there. You can see all the different classes and different types of Qigong we have. And it goes very deep. Oh, so cool. Thank you, Jima, for that's a nice email. I'm glad that this was an intro for you and you understand it. Awesome. Very cool. Great comments, you guys. I appreciate all that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And okay, so we're at 11:57. So there's another really nice way that we close out from the medical Qigong system. And that way we can just do this one sitting down. And then we'll do our Lohan salute one more time, just because it will do like an official closing. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate you, brother. Keep doing it. So this last one is like a medical Qigong salute out, and then we'll end with our Lohan signature to salute out. So we're just going to feel like we're just going to tap in. Let me slide this back out a little bit. That's cool. So we're just going to reach deep into the earth and tap in like a celestial pole from the Earth star. And then we're going to reach all the way up and connect with the North Pole star like this celestial stem down through us, connecting us all together. And we ask Divine Presence to guide our heart, mind, and our practice so we can take this knowledge and pass it on to future generations. Saluting out, paying respects to each other, teachers of the past, present, future, and our places of practice. And in honor of our tradition, the Lohan tradition, we circle back, gathering the flame and the spark and sliding it down into the candle. And the purpose of our candles is to spread the light. Thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to the next one. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And yeah, it was fun, really good. Yes. Thank you to my people here, Harriet and Dean. We're keeping our social distancing, but they've helped a lot today. Appreciate them. Be their friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys have a wonderful day.
Class.
Thank you. Thank you.